What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we got the big reveal stream for the Age of Triumph event, which over 100k people tuned in to watch, and we learned a whole bunch of info about what to expect in this DLC event. So as a quick summary, it's coming out on the 28th of March, of course, with a huge 13-page record book. All three of the old raids are in fact being brought up to current light of 390 for their hard modes. They've all been tweaked and fixed also, and there's going to be a load of new rewards in all four of the raids, even Wrath of the Machine. There's new armor for the old raids as well, with several new ornaments to change their appearances, and on top of that, a bunch more stuff as well. So we're going to go over all the important details and everything you need to know about this Age of Triumph event. So first thing, they're not actually raising the light level in this event. Some people will probably be glad to hear that they're not bumping the light level because it doesn't really add much purpose. It just makes you have to upgrade all your gear all over again and everything that's 400. So it's a bit of a waste of time in some aspects, but some people also want more light just as something to do. So maybe you like that, maybe you don't. I'm not really too bothered myself as long as it's something to do, which of course we definitely have in this case.
I mean, the design of the Age of Triumph crest is full of clues as to what we're going to experience. Shout out to Unknown Player, who I saw tweeting on the day that we first previewed this, for noticing that all four of the raids are included in this crest right here.
So looking at the record book, this of course is the main kind of like tool to tracking your completion of the event in Destiny as a whole, kind of wrapping up Destiny 1 before Destiny 2, of course. So there's some really classic emblems in here that were never actually released, some of the cool ones, and now we're going to finally get them as rewards. So for all these pages that I'm about to talk about in this book, these are all retroactive, so meaning all the things you've done already in Destiny, these are going to be counted in the challenges. So most of you might have already completed like 20 to 40% of this book when the event actually drops, because things you've already done will of course be recorded, so bear that in mind as I read these out. And another note real quick is that you don't need to complete this book 100% to get all those in-game rewards that you just saw on this first page. So essentially anyone that plays the game enough regardless of skill can get every single reward but the last one, which is an in-game reward. So people that can actually do every challenge mode raid and flawless trials and rank up every vendor and collect every item, you will be able to complete the record book 100% and get the final reward, which is a free personalization and probably discount to the year 3 t-shirt. They did the same thing back last year for the year 2 Moments of Triumph, so we've got a similar thing now, but of course a different design. This is the shirt as you can see right now, and you get to add your gamer tag on the side, so same as last year, and it's a pretty cool design. So the first page is basically honoring really old school players that have played since the game's launch and completed all the old content at the time of its release. So playing the Dark Below and completed that raid in the time the Dark Below was out before House of Wolves, of course. So once again, if you're a new player, you aren't missing out. You can skip this page completely and still get all the game rewards. But obviously, you won't be able to complete the challenge, seeing you need to be around back when the content launched and get that challenge completed. So there are also pages for the story mode, pretty simple. There's one like we saw before for the Titan, Hunter, and Warlock. There's one for strikes. Now, they did actually make one comment. Deej said they're adding more Mayhem to Nightfalls. Now, Mayhem sounds like it might be some kind of thing similar to the Crucible game mode, of course, where you get infinite supers and all the kind of abilities are jacked up a lot. So maybe it's similar to the glitch where you get infinite supers, which is really fun to do in PvE. So once again, adding more Mayhem to Nightfalls, and in my opinion, that probably sounds like something along the lines of the Crucible mode, boosting your abilities and hopefully making it more fun, because Nightfalls are definitely very boring and not many people complete them these days in year 3. So next up, there's also one for Crucible. This is not a page for trials. There is one later on. This is just a basic page for Crucible challenges, very simple. There's also a raids page, of course. So this page is going to include all 4 of your raids and various challenges for them, including completing the challenge modes for them. There's going to be each week, one of the 4 raids will have the challenge mode active, and that's going to be live for that week. Just one of the 4 raids out of Vault of Glass, King's Fall, Crota's End, or Wrath of the Machine. Otherwise, you can still play the other raids that aren't featured, but of course they won't have the challenge modes active, and you won't be able to get the ornaments, which I'll get into later. So they also mentioned that in 2 weeks from now, the Sandbox stream, they're going to be discussing how the elemental primaries from the Vault of Glass are going to fit into the sandbox. So that suggests there might still be elements on those primaries in Vault of Glass at least, and probably Crota's End as well. So after all, we might still be getting our elemental primaries, which sounds absolutely amazing, and hopefully that's the case. Not sure what was the deal with that video footage they showed in the trailer, but there might be elemental primaries after all, which is definitely good news. It might be the case that you need an ornament applied, or you need to do something, or maybe it's temporary. Not sure how it's going to work, but they're going to discuss that in the Sandbox stream in 2 weeks' time. Also on the topic of raids, the year 3 Mythoclast is also going to drop at 400 light, which is very cool to hear. There's Atheon challenge mode, and apparently is the hardest challenge they've ever made in Destiny. So apparently it's going to be very difficult. So definitely looking forward to see what that's going to be. There's also Age of Triumph ornament, which of course is a reward from the weekly challenge, and that's going to alter your gear, which I'll get into in a second. Now, the King's Fall and Wrath of the Machine raid also have some new stuff added, so that's going to be an incentive to actually play them instead of just playing content we already completed 6 months ago or a year ago maybe. So some things like the old raids, those are going to have ghost shells, which never had before, and things like the new raids are going to have some things like sparrows, for example. Those are just some of the things, but they're going to fill in a lot of missing gaps. I'm not sure if we're going to get swords in all of them. That'd be very cool, but I'm doubting it. And the bottom line is that all 4 of the raids are getting some new stuff added to them. Obviously, the old raids getting a lot more as incentives to play. So there's of course new raid armor sets for the old raids. All of these armor sets have 2 ornament options. Even Wrath of the Machine has got another ornament slot added to it. So it seems like this armor we saw for the Hunter a while back, this actually is the new Vault of Glass armor set. And they kind of suggested that you can actually make this armor look like the original Vault of Glass armor with the ornament. So you can apply that, and it'll make it look like the old original Vault of Glass set. And the others look new and shiny apparently. Bungie also tweeted this image, which looks very cool. This, of course, is one of the final shots in the Vault of Glass, standing on top of the pillars, where you've got to build the kind of light and go into the portals. So this Hunter here is, of course, wearing that brand new armor we saw in the previous image. And he's also got that cool Vex leg, which you can see, which is very awesome looking. Now that scout rifle in his hand is almost definitely the Vision of Confluence, the scout rifle in the VoG raid, but it does definitely look like it's gold and white, so it's probably going to be the new ornament for the raid weapons, and possibly a new ornament for the Cerberus regime. I can't tell exactly, of course, very dark, but if you zoom in, you can kind of see it looks very different to the original Cerberus, so possibly there's an ornament for the Cerberus now, which is black and gold, and the Titan gear looks very white as well, similar to those futuristic Vex you can see in the raid. Now, they've also boosted the loot drops in the old raids, as some of you might remember. Back in year 1, the raid loot drops was extremely cruel, like absolutely brutal, and things would drop so rarely, and it was really, really harsh, and it would not be tailored towards what you got. Things like Praetorian Foil, like some people still don't have them. It's so rare, and it's going to be a lot more generous like they are these days. So the first actual week when this event goes live, the first featured raid is going to be Crota. So apparently they're excited with all the new additions and fixes to that raid, which is definitely good because that was an issue with remaking the old raids. You might remember the Crota raid was extremely broken and had a lot of issues, especially seeing as it wasn't made with sword blocking and tethers and all the fancy stuff we've got now in year 2 and 3. The Crota raid was definitely very kind of like bug prone, so now they've actually fixed it and essentially it's not like a strike anymore. So moving on through the book, there are of course some other pages, one for collecting emblems, ships and shaders. Not all the ones in the game, just some of them, so like 75 ships for example. There are a lot more than 75 ships, but if you collect 75, then that'll of course get that challenge completed. There's the Wanderer for some kind of random Easter eggs and more collectibles. Things like ghost shells, public events, disturbing the remains on old loot caves. There's one for allegiances, so ranks with vendors and factions. And finally, the last page is the Trials of Osiris page, which a lot of people are dreading. And interestingly enough, the very first challenge on this page is to have gone flawless. But don't worry, so if you've ever gone flawless ever in your entire life of Destiny, you will have this completed. If not, then you need to go flawless to get this record. But this page is very special in the sense that you only need to complete 60 challenges to get the completion. So you can completely not go flawless and still get the trials page completed and still get the emblem at the end. You don't need to go flawless, but again, if you want to, that's going to add the node and complete your book 100%. So that's a very interesting decision. Obviously, a lot of people were worried. They don't think they have the ability to go flawless. So that is all covered and it's not really essential. So that is a roundup of everything you need to know about the Age of Triumph event and every detail we learned so far. A lot of stuff for short, so of course let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are you excited for? What are you not a fan of? What do you like? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'll be interested to see them as always. Of course, drop a like rating on the video if you did enjoy it, and stay tuned for many more videos covering this event. Be sure to subscribe and have notifications turned on to not miss my future uploads. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.